welcome to the show. We're just doing some talking. We're going to be talking about a couple points today. I'm just going to get right into it because, we've already started talking and it's pretty good. But my first point so far was Chalmers. Mario Chalmers recently said that no player fears LeBron. And I was just blown away because I was like, all right, wait a minute. Mario Chalmers, former teammate, won a championship with LeBron, knows LeBron's game in and out, but knows him as a person in and out, and no one fears him. But most importantly, why are you going against Bron? This is arguably the GOAT. Why are you going against Bron? But, what do you think? Because I was like, this is crazy. This is crazy.
So you brought a very interesting first point, Monte. And my name is John-Michael for the audience who may not know me. Let me just introduce myself. And yeah, when I read the support, initially it made me laugh because I have a love-hate relationship with LeBron. He's the GOAT, but is he my GOAT? That's a different question. Like, that's not for today's thing. But I didn't understand Mario Chalmers. I couldn't hate on it because I'm like, I understand that he doesn't really make you fearful because you should be fearful of the person who's the greatest, who scored the most points of all time.
Okay.
But on the basketball court, are you afraid of like what he's gonna bring? You know he's gonna bring the aggression every night, but are you afraid for like he's gonna be a closer every night? That's a different question. But Mario Chalmers, he put food on your plate, literally. I would have never said anything like that because you're not in a position to ever say anything because you're Mario Chalmers. You're Norris Cole. Like, without LeBron, you would have never known who you were.
Oh, my God.
That's how it is. That's how I would say it.
Oh, my God. So then he kept going, too, though. He was like, so he talked about the Ray Allen shot and how Ray Allen kind of sealed that championship for him. And he was like, if you look on the video, I'm on the other side of the court and I'm wide open. And like I watched it back and I go, okay, dude is wide open. But then I watched the play develop and I go, okay, Chris Bosh gets the rebound and he's already facing Ray Allen. Off LeBron's miss, gets the rebound, he's already facing Ray Allen. You mean to tell me Chris Bosh is going to turn around and throw a over the body, over the shoulder pass to Mario Chalmers instead of a direct chest pass to a wide open Ray Allen for a game-winning three? I'm choosing Ray Allen every time. I appreciate the confidence, but I'm not choosing you over Ray Allen.
Likewise, because again, you are Mario Chalmers. There's not a lot behind Mario Chalmers. You were a great player, a great role player. You did great high school, college. We know the history, but NBA, everybody's great at the end of the day. Like, you didn't, right. You didn't, and during your time, you didn't really separate yourself as like a top guard. And we've seen Ray Allen. He's lived to take corner threes and hit shots when it matters. Like, that's his game.
Yeah.
So to me, I wouldn't say a comment so bold because they didn't trust you with the game on the line neither. He had both options, but it's like, who are you gonna really go to? If someone's a knockdown 3-point shooter or somebody that you could have hit it. It could have been you that just saved the legacy of LeBron, but
exactly. And
it's priority on the court.
That's all it comes down to. So let me throw this one at you because Gilbert Arenas said something interesting, which he always does. He's always got an interesting point. But he said something along the lines of Bron. Nope, it's not that people don't fear Bron. It's that Bron is an all-around player. And he was like, people didn't fear Magic. People didn't fear a lot of those players like that because they're all-around players. People fear Jordan because he's going to give you 60 without remorse, and that's just on you. Bron will give you 29, 9, and 9. And I go, I don't know if that's fair to say because if Bron gets a triple-double, that's just as fearful as him dropping 45 on my head. I think it's like we're picking and choosing who to be fearful of. And let's be real. If we're talking Miami LeBron, everybody was afraid of Bron because Bron was like, what, 270, 265, all muscle steroids. Obviously he didn't take steroids, but Bron took steroids. But, that brother was 270 coming down, and they called him a runaway freight train if he's going downhill. I don't know about you. I'm not taking that charge. I was afraid of Bron at that time. So I don't even know where that notion came from.
I think what we're talking about, you bring in a very good point because of the Gilbert Arenas and LeBron, Miami is literally one of his best primes. But the Cleveland LeBron, to me, I feel like that's when he's like one of his best because that's when you see LeBron taking the initiative, like leading the charge. He might not have the cast to help him do it, but that's LeBron that's going for the high point outburst because at a certain point he had to start realizing like the assists, the rebounds are not doing it because again, as a good overall player, you know that person is gonna make the best play every occasion. So you know that they're always gonna look for the best shot, the best opening. But a person who comes down and will take every single shot, regardless if you put a hand up or you don't play, if you go one play and take it off light, those are the most people that you have the most fear for, because they know, like at the end of the day, like if I'm having there's no bad game to them, because they're gonna keep shooting out of it, whatever hole they're in, and kind of keep throwing the punch. And those are people that they don't kind of stay back. So that's why I think people are not afraid of that. It's like, when Braun brings everything together, those all around players, they're very dangerous. They change the whole game from the tip off.
Exactly.
But it's like when the game starts getting close and it's not enough happening, those people are not the people you're really afraid of, because you double team, they're gonna pass it. They're gonna look for something else because they're gonna try to make the right play, like as a real basketball player should. But then those players that like, they don't care who's in front of them, they're the hardest to guard. Like Gilbert Arenas, they're the hardest. Allen Iverson, they're the hardest, because they come in at you full force. They don't care if you're there. Like even Curry, sometimes you can see the glimpse. Like he doesn't care if you're in front of him. He's going for the shot, and that's what makes them so difficult to stop, because they're relentless.
So I mean, this sounds like the same argument we've always had with Bron, which is, does he have a killer instinct? Which he doesn't. He doesn't,
and that's where they don't fear him, because they know there's no killer instinct. But like you see Shaq, he also had the body, but he had the instinct. Like if you're in front of him, Shaq wants to go through you every play. And that's something you just can't stop when someone is ready to just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. It's like it's like you're boxing and you're up against the rope and someone just constantly just keeping pressure and just throwing a jab, and you can't get close because that person won't ever stop jabbing you, no matter what. No matter if they're tired, no matter if it's the last round, they're gonna throw that jab, they're gonna throw everything, because they're ready to just at any time just let it off. They're not gonna pick when to stand down.
So let me ask you this then. I don't think Stephen Curry. Oh, I'm gonna catch so much hell for saying this too.
I know what you're gonna say.
Exactly. I don't think he has a killer instinct. I don't think he has a killer instinct.
He doesn't. Like some people, I think what players that are very good, like when you're like when you have a specialty like 10 player, and like your shot is like the best in the world.
Yep.
You kind of settle like every play. I'm gonna take a jump shot. Like Klay Thompson, he takes literally like 100 jump shots. He doesn't really go for layups or dunks, because he knows his game is better. Like he's a pure jump shooter. So like Curry's like also saying, well, now he's been starting to drive more, which has been making him like a way better player, because now you're playing him so high. He's like, I'm just gonna take you to the rim because I can finish with one of the best. So that's when he does it. But I think where Curry like sometimes lacks that killer instinct, I think he's super aggressive, but he's gonna keep shooting and shooting and shooting. But he shoots so fast, like the play doesn't even develop. He just kind of shoots in the first 3 seconds. You give him any space, he just fires it up. So you kind of play that to your advantage, because like if you understand how Curry plays, you can tell like, okay, when he pump fakes with one foot, with his right foot in front of the left foot, he's most likely going to shoot it, because that's in the shooting stage. But if his right foot's behind his left foot, now he's in the, I'm just throwing you a pump fake, I know he's not going to shoot it. So it's kind of you kind of know how to play players like that, because they love to shoot so much. You know they're going to shoot, so you kind of feed off, kind of play it off. You kind of chase them around, hoping that they shoot the shot, because then it's already a tough shot that they're going to fall into.
Right. I mean, so I feel like he didn't have the killer instinct because he's so streaky. I think we were talking about it one time, and I think you said when he's up, he doesn't miss, and when he's down, he can't make one. And so I started watching the games, and I go, yo, that's it. He when he's down, he's not the one bringing him back, but when he's up, that man does not miss. And so it's tough to have a killer instinct with him, one, being such a nice guy, but two, when your team is down and you need to bring him back, and you're not the guy that's going to do it, because it's just streaky. It's just continuously streaky.
Like I still say, like exactly how you said, like he's literally an up and down beam. That's why his third quarter is always his best, because he either comes out firing first quarter, like he's firing off all cylinders, then he cools off a bit. Then third quarter that makes the Warriors, because they come back, and that's when they get streaky right there. And then they usually spread out the gap. But that's why elite is never good enough elite against that type of team, because they're aggressive they have a killer instinct. Well, they're gonna put up so many shots.
Yeah.
But like to like close a game, like he's gonna take the final shot, but it depends on how the game is going for him. It's really, is he gonna close it or not? Like Damian Lillard is like a different level of closer, because he knows what shot he's picking to close the game. Curry is just picking. Curry is usually most likely picking the first shot option that opens, but Damian Lillard's like really he's developing that option that he wants, like his final option.
I mean, are you going to be the one to tell Steph Curry, don't take that shot? You're not in range.
Yeah, I'll never say that.
Yeah, I'm
Because
not telling
Curry's
him
range is everywhere, but it's like
that. Yeah.
most teams are probably gonna live with that. No matter, even though he's a great shooter, you're shooting out from
from like the half court line. Like
30
I
feet
I could
out.
live with that. I could
You
live
know
with
what I
that.
mean? From 30
Yeah.
feet out. That's better than like same way we would rather LeBron shoot from 30 feet out. I'd rather that than him coming 3 feet away from the basket, because now that's dangerous. The closer you get, the closer I get, the more worrisome I get. But like
I'm laughing because Luka has like 2 game winners, potential game winners, where he's like under the hoop and just missed them.
Just whistled it.
Man, so I'm laughing because you're saying get so close, and I'm like, well, that don't count for Luka.
Yeah, for some people. And but the thing that leads us to the next point, because anyways, the Luka and the Kyrie situation.
Woo!
How many chips do you throw in for such a star player nowadays? Because
oh man, so I mean, for Kyrie, championship experience. There's not a ball handler like him. There's no one in the game like him, but he also has a big locker room presence and a big media presence as well, with a lot of BS that's coming with it. I mean, me personally, knowing so this is what I would have done. If I were the Mavericks, knowing that we need infrastructure, not just we need a star player along with Luka, we have to buy defense. We have to buy defense. And what I think they should have done is gotten in on that Brooklyn trade, and then tried to find a way to get Cam Johnson. That would have been tough, and they would have had to give up a lot, but they need defense, and they need someone to be able to guard a star player on defense the whole night, like Mikal Bridges used to do. Now, if they were smart, they would have tried to get Mikal Bridges right out of the gate from Brooklyn, but nobody could have assumed he would turn into a 30-point, 40-point star in Brooklyn. Like no one could have predicted that.
he's hooping.
Man, like superstar level. And so I would have tried to get one of them in addition to Kyrie, if possible, only because I think we talked about this a while ago too. They gave up too much for Kyrie in return, and he's not going to play defense. Luka already doesn't play defense, but Kyrie is not going to play defense either, not like that either. So then you have the question of who's going to defend who? Because unless we put up 150 points, even if they play the Kings, and the Kings are my dark horse this playoffs, if they play the Kings, they're going to lose because the Kings don't play defense like that either, but the Kings will give you 130. So you can't stop them unless you outscore them. And to be honest, I don't see too many people outscoring them. So they need defense. I would have gone with Cam Johnson, but I would say if you can find a way to get like Josh Hart from the Pels, or no, Josh Hart is in New York now.
New York.
They're not letting him go then. Never mind. He's not going. They need a defender though. They need more defense.
Yeah, like you said pretty much in the point. I don't want to speak Kyrie's locker room talk because the media is just doing too much. Yeah. But Kyrie's always been one of my favorite players, even what he did to me as a Celtics fan when he played us over. But I knew not to fault for that, because whenever I hear someone that happy saying they're gonna sign, that means they're not gonna sign. You gotta notice the signs of a liar. I notice the signs of a liar. So, but I've always loved Kyrie's game ever since he came into NBA. I feel like he's one of the most polished players to ever come in.
Yep.
Just to work. Immediate impact, doesn't even need developing. Like you just see that every year he's going better, but it's a high risk, high reward. Like with the Mavericks, they keep having what was it, first round exit or second round exit? They can't go far in the playoffs. And why? Because we're playing the James Harden type of basketball, where it's one man offense trying to lead the charge all the way through. Like regular season, you're gonna dominate, but the West is very deep, so you're dominating is you will have big scoring outbursts and scoring games, but it does not translate to playoff wins or playoff series wins. Same thing we saw with Houston.
Yep.
Then when James Harden was doing it, they didn't win more than than the Mavericks. But that's what always been my thing is Luka will give you high production, but so what? Like it's going to be a losing effort a lot of these times. And now you wouldn't even think that trading Vinny Smith and who else was another perimeter player.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who that was too, because they kept Hardaway. So
yeah, I
don't know.
I can't think of people off the top of my head. That's why we have the editing for. But it's the fact that those two players that are not, you wouldn't look at them as like very high offensive producing players or even high defensive players, but they do the job of going on your best player. Yep. So with that gone, and Spencer Dwindle and Finney Smith and a bunch of picks. Okay. So you just lost your second ball handler pretty much, and then you lost your primary defender. you wouldn't think that had such a big impact, but the fact that, like you said, Luka doesn't play defense well. Kyrie is not known to be a defender either. Now the whole team has to be either locked in on rotations and playing well and communicating well. And as we know, sometimes my thing with Luka is such a great player, but a lot of times he's always complaining. Like all the time he's complaining. He's not locked in either on defense or he's looking for a foul, and there's a lot of frustration. Like he's just not. There's too many theatrics with him when he's playing. He's not just out there trying to hoop. He's just out there kind of. And that's why he's been missing a lot of those little buckets at the rim because he's looking for a foul. He's looking for something like play through the contact. You would have scored if you actually just like be a man and finish through.
Exactly. One of the ones he missed, Draymond's like straight up. He's under the hoop.
Straight up
Draymond straight up. And I'm like, dude.
Whistled it.
And he gets mad because they didn't call the foul. I'm like, go up. You're 6'8" point guard. Put the ball in the hole. Put the ball in the hole. If you get fouled, great. If not, we're taking the points.
Exactly.
And then you complain. Oh, no.
And then you're just complaining. So it's the high risk, high reward. But I understand the move. I understand the executive move by Mark Cuban. You know that Luka is gonna be frustrated. You are just valuing a high offense though. Like you need pieces around Luka who can also like score, but you need a balance of defense too. And you don't have enough wings. You don't have enough wing players that can go and play defense on LeBron. Go play defense on AD. Go play defense on Damian Lillard. Nobody's there to really sit there and play defense on these best players and actually tell everybody. There's no veteran presence to be like, okay, guys, rotate. Be ready. There's no Draymond Green. There's no glue for this defense. So that's why the defense is like voiceless.
Oh man, veteran presence is the one. Veteran presence
running
is
around,
the one.
and then your offense is always going to be there, but that one man offense is not going to get you too far. So that's why you get Kyrie, but then at the cost of you don't have the right surrounding pieces around Luka, who like a hybrid. Like if they had Jeremy Grant over there, I think it's a whole different game. They have someone that can play defense, but he could play defense on all positions, score the ball. Put like somebody like a Jaylen Brown, somebody that just it's a two-way player, but then they also can score too. That's what pretty much you need. You need that 1-2 punch, but you don't have that because you have a very ball dominant Luka coming down and controlling the tempo.
I think they need a big man. If they have a big man, you spread the court a little bit because now your top players are, like you said, the 1-2 punch. They're all in the backcourt. So me personally, I'm gonna force y'all to shoot, and y'all aren't gonna hit every shot. Luka might hit every shot, and he may give you 60. Same with Kyrie, but I'm gonna force y'all to shoot. Y'all are gonna have to shoot every shot, and y'all aren't gonna get it inside. And if y'all do, who's gonna make us pay? Maxi Kleber? Who's gonna make us pay? Christian Wood should, but I don't know if he's gonna get the ball enough. So
yes, they don't use him as well.
Exactly. So if you're not gonna if you're not gonna punish on the inside as far as taking the ball in the hole keep going, so that way it spaces out the floor and you can do the shooting now, then I'm just gonna make y'all shoot, and then we'll get the rebound, whether it's far or close, and then we're running the other way. That's what it is. Because y'all aren't gonna play defense, so we'll just blow past you. And who's gonna stop me again? Maxi Kleber? No one's gonna stop me. So I'm taking it every single time personally. But they gave up too much for Kyrie. But like you said, I think it's a move for the future. I think Perk said that today on First Take was it's a move for the future for next year because once they get into the playoffs, then you now have someone to help as far as spreading the floor. And now you could do Kyrie can go one-on-one versus Luka do ones, and then you could sit one and play one. But it doesn't work then because you still don't have a big man or defense. And I'm not too sure about their bench either, because if these guys go to the bench, who's stepping up? Dinwiddie was that, but now his ass is in Brooklyn. So, I mean, who do you guys have coming off the bench is going to help push those points up as well?
Yeah, like you said, I think this is, if they're playing it right, this has to be a move for the future. Use this offseason to try to get as many two-way players, but not robots, not to sit in the corner players that like LeBron sometimes gets, where it's just like they come in and they forgot to play basketball when he's with them, and then they just literally want to play defense and then just shoot the ball all the time or not be able to make basketball moves. So this is like you got to get like a good balance of like your personality. You got to know who you have around. But for offense, like playoffs, you're gonna do really good, but the defense is probably gonna stop you. But you have closers now, so who knows? You guys might be able to break through, but I don't see you guys going far in the West. You guys are barely in the play-in right now.
And I'm trying to think who they match up well against. And I mean, so the Suns have Kevin Durant, so that matchup with the Mavs and Suns isn't going to be what it used to be. Clippers, they used to dominate the Clippers. Pat Bev's in Chicago now, so Luka's just not bullying nobody. I don't know, man. They don't really match up too well with too many teams out there. And me personally, I might do a triangle and two. I know they did the boxing one on Steph in the finals that one year. I might pull a triangle and two on those two, and then just have the inside. We ain't missing no rebounds, and then force them to shoot. Luka's gonna get the charge a couple of times, and he's gonna start talking. But we're gonna get a technical out of him. He's gonna get thrown out the game. And there's Luka. Then I'm gonna get Kyrie. We're just gonna double him. He make him pass the ball, and then as far as him driving to the hoop, crash, hands up. He's gonna throw it into contact, and then I'm just forcing Kyrie. He's either gonna pass it or he's gonna shoot it in traffic. Either way, that's how I would stop him. That's how I'd go about it. But I don't know who they match up well against in the West, and sheesh, that's tough.
Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see how this all folds in. Definitely want to say, who do you see getting these last seeds for the West?
Oh man, let me look. All right, I was looking at this today, and so I was shocked to see OKC actually in the race, and like they're like the 10 spot, and so I was like, all right, so they could actually do it. Let me see, NBA. I was just looking at this too. Lose because the Warriors, they got championship DNA, with their matchup to play the Warriors now. I would say the last two spots are going to belong to the Lakers and the Pels. Lakers and the Pels.
Lakers and the Pels. So then, because I have this playoff picture right here that I'm looking at, and so if it ends how it's subject to end, it's the Timberwolves and the Pelicans will be playing for the 7th seed. So whoever wins that automatically gets to face Ja in Memphis. And then how else they're doing it is then the 9 and the 10. So the loser of the 7 and the 8 face each other, and they face the winner of the 9 and the 10 seed, which right now is the Lakers and OKC. So you say you see Lakers and Pelicans taking it. I think I might say Timberwolves and Lakers to play in. Or yeah, definitely Timberwolves is going to be in there. Because with Cat coming back and Rico Rubio coming back and Anthony Edwards, I think they can make that push.
Is Edwards back? I know he was hurt. Is he back?
Yeah, Cat came back and they had a big win. He just had a big game winner against Golden State. And now switching up the board because you give Golden State a loss and then you give yourself a win.
Is Ant Edwards back?
I don't know if Edwards back, but Cat's back. Rudy Gobert's back, and Edwards is subject to still come back for the end of the season at least.
I don't know, man. I don't know about the Wolves. I don't know.
I'm liking the young stars. I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm thinking I see them in there because I don't see the Pelicans doing much without Zion. Everybody just plays very hard. They're a very good team. Don't get me wrong, but with no Zion, I just don't see them doing enough to keep it. Like Brandon Ingram is just because he came back, that's what's keeping them still here. But remember, this team was at one point second in the West, and then Zion goes out and they lose like 12 games.
And I can live with that. And I guess that's what I was kind of banking on is Ingram being in. Gosh, if CJ McCollum can get us some leadership, previous playoff experience, that'd be great. So there'd be that one. And then Jose Alvarado, although he's not a star, he is pretty damn useful on defense. But that might be as far as they go. Damn, this is a good question.
So my pick is going to be Minnesota to get to the last point. I'm going to say Minnesota and the Lakers. But if Dallas is in the play-in, I have Dallas. You guys might hate me for this. I might have Dallas. Sheesh. I'm going to say Dallas, and I'm going to give Dallas and Lakers. I'm going to trust the Lakers. Dallas and Lakers if they're both in the play-in. Then Timberwolves could bounce. But I feel like the Timberwolves could sneak up on one of them and steal that one because it's one game. So you never know who comes out on that one game really feeling like this is I want to go play.
Right. So let's do this then. The Jazz, I don't think are going to do it. The Jazz aren't going to do it.
Yeah.
I think they're out. So that leaves 5 teams: Wolves, Lakers, Pels, OKC, and Mavs. And you're saying Mavs and Lakers. I'm gonna change my answer. I'm gonna change mine from Pels to OKC. You have swayed me. I'm gonna go to OKC because they are underrated, and I think if you overlook them, they will beat you. So I'm gonna go OKC. But OKC has to win a couple of games in order to do that because if they play the Mavs, I'm not sure. OKC, that'd be a good one too because they're tied. All right. Final picks. All right. So I'm gonna go Lakers because AD and LeBron can't exactly count them out. And then out of the remaining teams, I would love to go Dallas. I have some serious concerns about their defense, and even the offense. I'm not even sure Luka and Kyrie are like on the same page. I'm gonna go Lakers and OKC. I think OKC.
Okay. I'm not mad about that because again, in this one game series, you don't know what shot you're gonna get. You can get Shy that's gonna come out and give you 40 points. You lost. That 40 ball is gonna kill you.
Yep. And
it's a very young team that's like the players like the Jalen Williams, both of them have been playing really good.
Yep.
Josh Giddey, is a triple-double machine. Shy, you got Lucas Dort holding down the defense. So they're young talent. So you don't want to ever. You don't know what you're gonna get. You get one of the leading scorers in the NBA right now to come out and do what he does best, score some buckets. And now what? Now you're going up against teams that could not be like the best defensive team. They go up against the Mavericks. They don't have a defense ready for that. They just dropped 2 games to Hornets back to back. So anything can happen.
My first thought, like my jaw dropped. I was like, you guys lost to the Hornets?
Like without LaMelo? Dennis Smith Jr. And I like
Smith Jr. How many did he give us? 13? How many did he give us? 13? Oh my God.
Lost back to back. So that's why I'm like, you never know what you're gonna get hit with in the NBA because everybody at the end of the day is like we said, like look at Mikal Bridges. He goes to Brooklyn and now he went from at one point just being
a defender,
third, fourth option, like a 3-and-D player on the team, to now he looks like the top scorer on this team over there. So it's the NBA. Everybody's good in basketball at the end of the day. So with one game, you just don't know what you're gonna get. Who are you gonna get in that one game? You can get a really good player or really bad.
All right, so let's jump to the East then, with our remaining 2 minutes. All right. So the Bulls finally are in the 10 spot. That's what I'm talking about. We finally in there. Pat Bev effect. Bev effect. That's what I'm saying. So
every year I made playoffs.
Right? I was like, all right. Man, so I'm biased. I'm gonna go Bulls are getting in there. Our defense is starting to look good, and Zach LaVine and DeMar kind of starting to gel a little bit, starting to get some traction. I'm gonna stick with that. Bulls are getting in. I think we can beat the Raptors. It'll be a tough fight, but I think we can do it. And then I got the Heat. I got the Heat and the Bulls.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna push you on that. I'm gonna say Heat, obviously to beat the Atlanta in the 7 to 8. But then I'm gonna take a risk and I'm gonna say Atlanta takes the 8th seed.
Sheesh.
Raptors just miss it.
I think the Raptors are gonna miss it too.
Yeah. But the way the Raptors play, they have a bunch of They have a bunch of good players around it. They just don't have an identity. That's pretty much their issue. So that's why I see Trae Young on that big stage. He doesn't do it against Miami Heat's defense, but against Toronto Raptors, you have Fred VanVleet. You guys match up way better there with the size and everything. So it's not like Trae's getting bullied on one end. DeJounte Murray, I feel like there's a lot of dogs that's gonna come in there, and they're gonna be whoever gets out of that Toronto-Chicago series just off that alone.
Yep, agreed.
And they usually make playoffs too.
Right.